Let's ask Julian Epstein, a Democratic consultant, and Mark Thiessen, a former chief speechwriter for President George Bush. Gentlemen, thanks for joining me. You know, this speech, both speeches were quite long. They covered a lot of territory. One of the areas they covered was American values. President Obama saying the decisions made over the last 8 years failed to rely on our legal traditions, time-tested institutions. They failed to use our values as a compass. No, former Vice President Dick Cheney said no moral value held dear by the American people obliges public servants ever to sacrifice innocent lives to spare a captured terrorist from unpleasant things. So who's winning that debate as to the American value side of things? Let's start with Julian.
Well, I think President Obama is clearly saying you can be very, very tough on al-Qaeda and be consistent with our constitutional values. And a new poll out this week by Democracy Corps had the public saying by a factor of 2 to 1 that they think President Obama is doing a better job than did President Bush on national security. Now, with the exception of a couple dust-ups like Gitmo and the Pelosi brouhaha this week, what the public really wanted was change in terms of ending the war in Iraq, redeploying our forces onto the Afghanistan-Pakistan border where al-Qaeda is, restoring American credibility in the world by ending things like torture and refocusing on things like the economy. And overwhelmingly, I think the public is showing great support for this president in doing all of those things. With respect to the dust-ups on Gitmo and Pelosi, I think those are secondary issues. The public really likes the general direction that this president is taking us.
Mark, I want to give you a chance to respond on the moral high ground here.
Well, first of all, if you treat this as a popularity contest between Barack Obama and Dick Cheney, Obama wins hands down. I mean, Dick Cheney's never going to win the Miscongeniality Award. But on the substance of the issues, I think Julian is completely wrong. Every one of these issues is a winning issue for the Republicans. The CIA interrogations. Obama released these memos and set off a firestorm that is still brewing today and that is embroiled the Speaker of the House in a scandal. And a month after we've been debating this, the polls show that a large majority of the American people support enhanced interrogation and getting information from terrorists that's necessary to stop attacks. On Guantanamo Bay, he's handed another winning issue to the Republican Party. Americans do not want Congress to bring terrorists from Guantanamo Bay here to the United States, and the Senate voted 90-6 to reject Obama's plan. And the problem Obama has here is he's not arguing with Dick Cheney. He's arguing with success. People will criticize the Bush administration, but they give George Bush credit for one thing. He kept America safe for 7 years after 9/11. 2,688 days. And for Obama to paint that as a failure or a mess he has to clean up is just not credible.
One of the biggest challenges that President Obama faces is Guantanamo. He has said, that he would like to see that closed. Congress not handing over the money easily. They want a plan in place. Do you think that this will be a big sticking point and that Republicans and Democrats won't be able to agree on this at all?
No, I don't. I think this is a Tier B issue. What the public wants is an end to the war in Iraq, a redeployment to where al-Qaeda is in the Afghan-Pakistan border, and a conduct of the war in a way that's consistent with our values. I think that Mark mischaracterized the public's point of view. I think the polls overwhelmingly show the public wants us to be tough on al-Qaeda, but doing so in a way that's consistent with our constitutional values. Torture is not consistent. With respect to the closure of the Guantanamo base, I think what Congress did was not to reject the Obama plan, but to say we need a plan as to how we're going to prosecute these al-Qaeda terrorists, and they should be prosecuted as war criminals under international law, and what we're going to do to actually house them while they're going through the legal process. And again, I don't think this is a big issue. If you look at what the public is saying right now, they overwhelmingly see a change from the failed policies of the Bush administration with respect to how the Iraqi war was conducted, both in terms of how it was conducted in Iraq and how things like torture were being prosecuted here and in our military prisons. I think they want change. They are seeing change. They like the general direction that we're moving in, both in our foreign policy and our domestic policy. And you can't deny that. The polls are overwhelmingly.
Can I get a word in here? Can I get a word in here? What the American people want is for the President of the United States to stop the terrorists from attacking us again like they done on September 11th. To portray the Bush policies of failure is just absurd on the face of it. But Barack Obama went to the CIA, and he said to them something remarkable. He said to them, I've made your job more difficult, and that's okay. Basically, the commander-in-chief told the CIA that essentially he's tying one of their hands behind their back in the fight against terror, and that's okay because that's what we need to do to protect what he views as our values. Those words are going to come back to haunt Barack Obama if we're attacked again.
I think, with all due respect, I think the public does lay some blame at the doorstep of the Bush administration with respect to the 9/11 attacks, and we know that from the 9/11 Commission. I think, secondly, the public lays plenty of blame at the doorstep of the Bush administration.
I mean, you want to relitigate this, but the fact is...
Let's not interrupt each other. Let's not interrupt each other. I think they lay plenty of blame at the Bush administration in terms of the feckless way in which the Iraqi war was conducted between 2003 and 2007, the failure to do the things that we needed to do in Afghanistan, and things like torture. You even have the FBI experts who were doing the interrogation of al-Qaeda operatives saying that torture was basically ineffective.
Gentlemen,
so I don't think the Republicans are winning the debate.
We're talking about some issues that have certainly been covered in these speeches, but moving forward, who do you think has the confidence of the American public as we go forward now? Mark?
Who are you asking?
I think we have a new president, and the people want to give him a chance. But he's making a lot of very early errors. He said over there in that speech that I see the intelligence every day, and these interrogations don't work. He redacted all the information proving that the interrogations work. He won't grant Dick Cheney's request to release the effectiveness memo that proves that they did. And the fact is, by taking this tool away from the CIA, by putting the CIA on the defensive when they should be on the offensive in the war on terror, he's making this country less safe. So the people want to give him a chance, but he's making a lot of decisions right now that are putting us at grave risk.
Well, Julian, I want to give you a chance to respond.
The FBI agent who actually conducted a lot of the interrogations on the top al-Qaeda terrorists said that these methods don't work. Many of the experts, the career experts, let me finish. The career experts have gone on record saying that these policies generally don't work. So I think that the Republicans again are not going to win that debate. I think that again, as I say, President Bush. I don't think the Republicans will win that debate. I don't think they are winning that debate. And again, if you look at what the public is saying right now, look, we tried the Republican way, and what the public said, Vice President Cheney's approval ratings are about 18%. Bush's maybe somewhere between 36 and 40. President Obama's in the mid-60s. There is no question there is change on the big issues, even on the secondary issues. The public likes it. You know, the president has said, look, we're going to continue military tribunals, which the left doesn't like. We're not going to release the torture pictures, which the left doesn't like. And on the other hand, he said we're going to close Gitmo, which the right doesn't like. And he has said that that we're going to end torture, which the right doesn't like. So I think, you know, Republicans are saying sometimes the president is too liberal. Then on other times they're saying he's too much like Bush. The Republicans can have it both ways. The fact of the matter is that Obama knows no allegiance to either, you know, the Democratic base or to the real conservatives. He is putting the national security interests first, not politics first, and that's a big change from the way the Republicans conducted the war on terror.
He's decimated the morale of our intelligence community, and there's not a single person, a serious analyst, who says that the last election was a rejection of the Bush policies in the war on terror. Every poll shows that Americans give him credit for keeping us safe.
I think every analyst says that the Bush administration, there's nobody that thinks the Bush administration prosecuted an effective
I can definitely see strong feelings here, certainly moving forward. But I want to wrap you guys, and thank you for coming in very much. Julian Epstein, Democratic consultant, and Mark Thiessen, former speechwriter for President George Bush. Thank you.